The last tickle. Ilara's world was a symphony of silence, punctuated only by the relentless whisper of her own nails against her skin. It was a feeling she had come to know intimately, a crawling, tickling sensation that promised a secret world just beneath the surface. She was certain they were there, a colony of tiny, unseen things, living and breathing in the space between her flesh and her bones. She tried to ignore them. She tried to focus on the hum of the refrigerator, the distant sirens, anything but the unsettling dance just below her skin. But the feeling was a tide, and it was rising. A faint ripple, like a stone dropped in a still pond, moved across the back of her hand. Her breath caught in her throat. The scratching became a frantic rhythm, a desperate plea for release. She dug her nails in deeper, her mind a whirlwind of frantic thoughts. "Get out," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "Get out, get out, get out." The skin on her arms, her legs, her torso was a roadmap of her struggle, a landscape of red welts and broken scabs. One night, as she was running her hand over her arm, she felt it. A small, hard lump, no bigger than a pea, just beneath the surface. It wasn't a feeling. It was real. It was solid. A cold, electric jolt of terror and validation shot through her. She was not crazy. They were real. The lump began to move, slowly at first, a deliberate, crawling motion that made the hairs on her arms stand on end. It was like a tiny, living thing, navigating the dark tunnels of her body. She watched, paralyzed by a morbid fascination, as it crawled up her arm, a tiny, grotesque mountain range moving across her skin. It reached her wrist, a place where the skin was thin and the veins were close to the surface. She could see it now, a faint outline of a segmented shape. It wasn't a delusion. It was a creature, a grotesque parasite, and it was about to break free. With a sickening pop, a tiny, black claw pierced the surface of her skin. A single drop of blood welled up around it, a crimson jewel on her pale flesh. She didn't scream. She didn't move. She just watched, her eyes glued to the horrifying birth taking place on her own body. The beetle pulled itself free, its hard, metallic shell glinting in the dim light. It was no bigger than her thumbnail, with 6 spindly legs and a pair of antennae that twitched in the air. It stood on her wrist for a moment, a perfect, horrifying specimen, before it unfurled its wings. It buzzed once, a low, mechanical hum, and then took flight, disappearing into the shadows of the room. Ilara was left with a gaping, bloody wound on her wrist and a strange, hollow feeling. But then she felt it, a new sensation, a familiar, crawling tickle, but this time it was coming from inside her head. The beetle was gone, but the feeling was back, stronger than ever. The crawling wasn't under her skin anymore. It was in her thoughts, in her memories, in the very core of her being. She had been so focused on the things under her skin, she hadn't realized the real infestation was in her mind, and it had just laid a new egg.